In this video, we're going to talk about inputting lat long or any XY data. We'll be using lat long data. Inputting lat long data into a spreadsheet and then saving that in a format that means we can turn that lat long data into spreadsheet into a shapefile in ArcGIS Pro. So two things to set up here. First, we are looking at a blank spreadsheet. Doesn't have to be Excel. I'm in Excel because I like Excel. You could do this in Google Sheets or OpenOffice or anything else that you would want to. We've got to get our data set up. We'll save it, then we'll pop over to ArcGIS Pro. So to set this up properly, we have to get our data formatted right. And in this case, we have a lovely spreadsheet with infinite possibilities ahead of us. For Arc to read this information, for Arc to actually understand what we're trying to tell it are the coordinates and the description of those coordinates, we need some headers. Now, in this example, we have XY data as latitude and longitude. So we're just going to use those as our headers. You could do lat long if you're feeling particularly abbreviative. Would get the same idea. You could just write XY. Arc will get that too. You have to remember which is X and which is Y though. Latitude or longitude. Let you think on that one for a bit. The other thing in this example is we have some kind of description. So in our work that we've been doing for the Intro GIS lab here at UMass, we've been doing a little bit of a campus scavenger hunt. So we have a description in addition to our lats and longs. Now, here is where you would input some numbers for your latitudes and longitudes. These are what you collected with your GPS or using Google Maps or what have you. Important things to note. Our signs are essential. Here in Western Massachusetts, we are positive in latitude, negative in longitude. Latitude north, positive. Latitude south, negative. Longitude east, positive. Longitude west, negative. So obviously the signs are important. You get the sign wrong, you flip where you are on the planet. And I know that no one has gone scavenger hunting in Kazakhstan or the Indian Ocean or anything like that. So you just need to input your data into this form with the lat and long in the right places, with the right signs, and the description. With the magic of technology, my fields are now populated. Note that my latitudes are all positive because I am in the northern hemisphere. My longitudes are all negative because I am in the western hemisphere. And those are all looking good. We'll also note that they are decimal degrees, fully decimal, no degrees, minutes, seconds, no other characters, anything like that. I've also removed any norths or wests. Arc's pretty good at parsing those things, but we want to keep it simple as possible. So just decimal degrees, easy, straightforward. I'm ready to go. Now, as being ready to go, I've got to save this. I've still got this as book one. This isn't saved as anything. So when we do our little save here, we've got to make sure that we put this in a location that is going to be accessible to us and that is going to be operable for us to put this into Arc Pro later. So we don't want to save this and leave this behind on a desktop someplace. We don't want to save this and like miss our flash drive or something. So you have to navigate to a location that works for you, that works for your file management. Remember, you're in control of your data. You and only you have the power to control your data. We should also probably give it a better name than book one. I'm going to call this GPS points. And I'm going to save this to my desktop. There's my desktop there. Just going to hit save, and I'm good to go. Now, you'll notice I kept it as XLSX. That's the default Excel version for the current version of Excel. It was a little circular. Current Excel file type for this version of Excel. Arc Pro handles XLSXs just fine. Not every program might though. So we could save it as another format if we were interested in being a little bit more open access. To do that, we would have to do a file save as instead of a file save. So along the left-hand side, when you come in Excel to file, you would choose save as instead. And then from this, you would choose from the drop-down, instead of XLSX, you would choose the much more universally usable CSV. Comma separated values. CSV is usable in pretty much anything, very universally accessible by different programs. CSVs are very happy for us to use. Now, when you save it as a CSV, sometimes Excel will give a little error saying, hey, you might lose some functionality. That's fine. The point of the CSV isn't functionality, it's utility. So now that I have it saved these two ways, let's hop over into ArcPro, and we're going to add this data in. Now, this data is saved two ways. I'm just going to load it in one way or the other. The process is going to be the same either way. All right, as you can see, I've brought up my add data screen, and there are my lovely points there as an XLSX and a CSV along with some other junk. I'm going to start with the CSV. Why not? Give that CSV some love. Now that I have it as points, it's just, or as I brought it in, to get it to be points, I have to get it to not be a table anymore. Right now, it's just a table. Look, that's exactly what my Excel spreadsheet looked like, just now in ArcPro. To make it lat long, to make it understand, to make ArcPro feel like it can absorb these points as spatial data, well, we have to treat it as XY data. So I just right click on my table here and go to display XY data. Just that easy to create a new point shapefile from that data. ArcPro does most of the work for us. What's the table name? It's the table I right clicked on. What's the name going to be? GPS points XY table to point. That's not the best name. Let's call it GPS points shape. What's X? Longitude. What's Y? Latitude. Easy. You don't even have to remember it anymore. The last thing here, it's kind of like a lucky guess for Arc here, is that it's thrown up WGS 84. And if you collected your points using Google Maps, that's correct. It might be correct if you collected things on a GPS device. You'd have to check your GPS device as to what datum it was sent to, what coordinate system it was set to. It's also correct for most smartphones. Most smartphones use WGS 84 as their default coordinate system when gathering lat long. So we don't even have to change that. You could click on the little globe and change it to, whatever one you want. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to hit OK. When I hit OK, I'm going to have 3 lovely points, pretty much exactly where I want them to be. Is this the athletic fields? Sure is. Is this Whitmore? Roughly. Might have transcribed that wrong off of Google Maps. That's okay. Is that the library? Sure is. So we've gone over how to use data in a spreadsheet, enter data into a spreadsheet, save that in a format that ArcGIS Pro can use, and then display that as XY data. One final note, this shapefile now just lives on your computer. It exists. Using that display XY tool, we made it. It's good to go. You saved it in the location that you wanted it, right? Right? You hit that button and wanted it in that location. I put it in my default geodatabase because this is my computer. And so I know it's going to be there. Did you put it in the right spot for you?